want some hot chocolate?
What? Oh yeah, look. Hot chocolate. Well, sure. Hey, that sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, here, enjoy it.
Thank you. Right. Rosita,
Yeah?
there's nothing in here.
It's imaginary hot chocolate.
Sesame Street is supposed to feel like a warm cup of cocoa, with Big Bird, Oscar, and Elmo keeping things silly, gentle, and safe for little kids. So when an episode is remembered as the one that traumatized children, it sounds almost impossible, like a rumor grown from playground gossip. But in 1976, the series aired an episode that brought in the Wizard of Oz's Wicked Witch of the West, with Margaret Hamilton returning to the role that had already spooked generations. Parents complained, kids reportedly cried or refused to keep watching, and the episode was quickly pulled from rebroadcast, turning it into a strange piece of TV folklore. Today, we're retracing how One Windy Day became the episode that stayed effectively banned for about 47 years until now. A broom falls from the sky.
What's that? Look at that, something's falling right out of the sky. I mean, it's coming down real fast. It's coming straight toward me. I better get out. Whoa. Oh. Woo. Oh. As soon as I caught that broom, the wind stopped.
On the day everything goes sideways, the street is hit with heavy wind, the kind that makes even the storefront signs look nervous. David steps out of Hooper's store, spots something spinning down from above, and catches a broom in his hands like it's a falling baseball. The second the broom is caught, the wind stops. That tiny switch from noisy chaos to sudden calm is a classic suspense move, and it tells kids that this object is not normal. It is a magic problem, and it now belongs to whoever is holding it. Around the corner comes the Wicked Witch of the West, fully in character, demanding her broom back. David does not hand it over. He insists she treat him with respect first, and the witch, furious at being challenged on Sesame Street, of all places, vanishes in a puff of smoke. That refusal sets the rules for everything that follows. The witch simply cannot take what she wants without playing by David's terms, so the episode becomes a long, tense negotiation dressed up as a kid's story.
Ooh, curses! The wind blew that broom right out from under me and dumped me here. And I don't think I like it.
Havoc in Hooper's store.
Hey, lady. Whew, this is a very powerful broom. And a very mean lady. Well, she won't get this broom back until she shows me a little respect and dignity.
David brings the broom inside and shows Maria, and for a moment, it feels like the adults might fix this the way adults usually do. Then the witch reappears and makes it rain inside Hooper's store, turning a safe, familiar place into something weird and out of control. Everyone rushes back inside, and the witch's threats start getting personal. She threatens to turn David into a basketball, and she threatens to turn Big Bird into a feather duster. Those are cartoonish ideas, but her delivery is pure Wizard of Oz menace. Big Bird tries to be brave, defending his friends instead of running. That courage is clearly part of the intended lesson. The problem is the witch keeps returning, and each return resets the fear, like the episode refuses to let the kids breathe. The detail that makes the chase work is that the witch cannot touch the broom while someone else is holding it, so intimidation becomes her main tool. Instead of a quick scare, the episode stretches the tension across multiple scenes, which is exactly what made it feel so intense for some young viewers. Oscar's crush and the witch's disguise.
My fine feathered friend, you've got my broom now.
Well, and I'm not your fine feathered friend.
Oh, you're not. Well, give me back my broom.
Don't give it up.
Don't give it back to me.
Don't give it up.
No, they say no.
No, give it back. I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh, fudge! That makes me furious.
In the middle of all the gloom, the episode swerves into something oddly funny. Oscar the Grouch develops a crush on the Wicked Witch, like he's finally met someone who matches his sour energy. It's a strange pairing, but it gives the episode some comic oxygen. The witch also changes tactics. She shows up disguised as an elderly human woman, hoping she can get close to the broom without the neighborhood recognizing her. David sees through it and holds firm, repeating that she only gets the broom if she asks nicely. With extreme difficulty, she finally forces the polite words out. The moment she says them, she takes the broom and transforms back into the witch, proving the manners lesson with a dramatic, almost theatrical snap. It's the closest the episode gets to a clean resolution. Then it undercuts that relief immediately. The neighborhood watches her fly away. She shows off by riding the broom with no hands. It slips, and the broom falls right back to the street. David catches it again and breaks down, saying he cannot go through it again, ending on a note that feels more anxious than comforting. The backlash after a single broadcast.
So glad she's leaving.
Oh, not me. I'm glad she came here, because it was very interesting and really exciting.
Exciting. Maybe for you, but not for me. All I want to do is to get out of here and fly home to Oz where I belong. Broom to Oz.
Bye, witch. Ooh, she's flying.
Boy, I've never been so glad to get rid of somebody in my whole life.
The episode aired February 10th, 1976, and it did not take long for the complaints to arrive. Parents wrote angry letters describing how their kids reacted, and the reaction was strong enough that the episode was pulled from reruns. What was designed to teach kids to face fear ended up creating fear. Producers did not ignore the criticism. Test screenings were held to gauge children's reactions. Children were attentive during the witch scenes, but the screenings could not clearly settle whether that attention was curiosity, enjoyment, or genuine fear. Sesame Street's research culture matters here. The show has long had goals that include emotional learning, but planners also worried about triggering fear or sadness when a caregiver might not be right there to explain what is happening. This episode pushed right into that danger zone. Once the decision was made, the fallout became its own story. The Wicked Witch episode turned into a whispered memory, a cautionary tale parents told other parents, and a kind of holy grail for the TV collectors who wanted to see what could possibly be so scary on Sesame Street. How the lost episode came back. For decades, the episode was essentially unavailable to the public, which only made its reputation grow. Then, in 2019, it resurfaced in a limited way during a special museum event tied to Sesame Street's anniversary celebrations, and it was also archived for controlled viewing in an institutional setting. In June 2022, the full episode leaked online, and the discussion changed overnight. Suddenly, people could watch the whole thing instead of relying on secondhand memories. Some viewers said it was not as terrifying as the legend, while others pointed out that a preschooler's fear is not the same as an adult's. The leak also had consequences. Public archivists expressed frustration that unauthorized sharing could limit legitimate access, and efforts were made to restrict viewings and remove uploads where possible. That is why the episode still feels half forbidden even as it circulates online. It's not a polished special release with a bow on it. It's a once-pulled broadcast that escaped into the wild, letting modern audiences finally decide whether it is truly traumatizing or simply the creepiest detour Sesame Street ever took. Now it's time to hear from you. If you were a kid when the Wicked Witch episode first aired, what do you remember feeling? And if you saw it later online, did it match the scary reputation, or did the legend feel bigger than the episode itself?